Et bien bonsoir, alors bien soir et bienvenue à un autre épisode de Vintage Kids. Hein? Ben oui, it's me, Phil, preferably called Vintage Phil, as you can see right here. And of course, I'm an old fart. See you old farts! Well, that's an old joke, but hey, it's still true. Alors bonsoir, hein, comme je disais en anglaise et en française. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Vintage Kids. This is actually episode 61. And it's going and going and going and gone. Alors cette semaine, hein, ben oui, hein, on va jaser là, hein, pourquoi pas, hein? So this week we're going to talk, you know, like talking together and having a wonderful moment and almost enjoying ourselves a bit too much. It's Gail Fox-Lobermeyer. Hello, Gail. Nice to have you aboard. I have no clue again how many people will show up tonight. Usually, it's funny because I cannot really say that I've got a number or an accurate number that people shows up every week. There's the regular ones. Je peux jamais vraiment dire combien de personnes qui viennent écouter le show. Je pourrais aller voir sur YouTube. I don't really go check on YouTube the numbers because I don't really care about the numbers. But I'm always surprised to see. Je suis toujours surpris de voir là, hein, ben oui. How many people actually come, watch a bit, goes away, come, listens a few minutes, goes away, and come back, and goes away, and come back. And that's okay. It's okay. I'm not saying that I want them to stay all. No. Again, I decided to do this for me, first of all, for you guys, and for us to have fun, to have somewhere to go every week, well, almost every week, and that we can talk about things that we all enjoy. Donc, je ne fais pas ça pour les chiffres, je fais toujours ça pour m'amuser. En premier lieu, je l'ai fait pour moi. Comme je vous avais expliqué la dernière fois, like I've explained last time, I decided to do this because I've been home for a very long time due to COVID stuff with the medical stuff, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to talk about it. So, I still enjoy doing this very much. I think that I need it. I need it for my mental health. It's kind of, how do you say it, meditation. C'est comme de la grosse méditation dans ta transam. Hein? Ben oui. So this week, I decided to go with a subject that was actually like going through my head for several weeks. Donc c'est un sujet aujourd'hui que j'ai décidé de faire parce que c'est un sujet qui me trottait dans la tête déjà depuis plusieurs semaines. Et c'est le fait de perdre nos héros de jeunesse. Et quand je parle de héros de jeunesse, je parle pas de Batman puis Superman. I'm not talking about superheroes, but and not necessarily either heroes like, wow, this guy did this. No, it's more losing our childhood heroes, more like these people actually were in our everyday life, or at least once a year or twice a year, because they would be in movies and stuff. And there's not only actors. I mean, we can talk about singers, we can talk about politicians, we can talk about the Pope. I mean, whatever, yank your chain. Donc, je ne peux pas juste parler des... Quand je parle de super-héros, je parle pas de Batman, je parle pas de Superman. I'm talking about the people. Je parle des gens qui ont été influents dans notre vie, qui ont eu un impact dans notre jeunesse, in our youth, that were there. Sometimes even without noticing how these people were getting important in our routine, in our everyday life, and that they would actually Well, I'm gonna make a stupid example, but it's like when you go on Facebook groups or when you join me on the Vintage Kids. It's like I love the time that I spend with Phil. I love the time that I spend watching uh, when I was a kid, Bob Barker on The Price is Right. It was kind of, I'm not going to say it was a religion, but it was something that I knew that every day when I would come back from school, because when I was in, how do you say it? Not kindergarten, but first year, second year until six first years of school when you're really young. The school was not very far from my place, so I would go back and eat at my home with my mom. And every day I would watch The Price is Right and I would watch The Flintstones in French. Les pierres à feu. Flintstones is called Les pierres à feu. Pierre is stone, à feu of fire. Donc, The Stones of Fire. Les pierres à feu. Ben oui, pourquoi pas. So, without actually realizing it, sans vraiment s'en rendre compte, notre ami Bob Barker est devenu quelqu'un qui dînait avec moi tous les midis. Bob Barker became someone. Flintstones, my favorite. I mean, everyone loves the Flintstones, and I was so surprised to learn that there was not as many seasons as I thought. But that could be. I would love. I that gives me an idea. I'm gonna have to make an episode talking about the Flintstones and the Simpsons. I think these are two pillars of our time, and we were lucky enough to enjoy both of these shows. Yeah, and the Jetsons, but I was not a fan of the Jetsons. Maybe it's because I was too young, but it was not. Oh, there's some. Yeah, maringouin, hein? Pas me faire piquer, là. Attraper tout les touches pas. The Jetsons were not translated in French, so I was not I don't think I was able to watch the Jetsons back in the days. Or perhaps it was maybe playing like on Saturday morning cartoons on the American channel. Over here we used to get channel 3, which was Burlington, Vermont. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. We don't realize how I learned everything about marriage from The Simpsons. The Simpsons, the Flintstones. Well, see, Ian, that's not a bad thing. You're probably not divorced. I don't think in the Flintstones anyone the divorce thing was not really like an option back in the days. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah, so this is why I wanted to talk about our fallen heroes. And like I said, they're not superheroes, but they're people that we grew up with them in our environment. Is this le Phil Leblanc? And you can even say LeBlanc if you want. Is this the real Jimmy V? Well, I'm really sorry. Tonight there's nothing really to win. Let me check. Did you see that new Rick Carlson action figure that they just... No, it's not true. It's not Rick. It's Rex. Ooh, that's another thing that we were going to have to talk about. Phil is in the blank. Well, I can... Yeah, that's fill the blank. I don't shoot blanks, by the way. Yeah, that's another story. Family show. Or when, just like when Robin Williams would go on stage and like people would go crazy. Yeah. And he was like, thank you. That's Robin Williams for you right there. Anyway. Okay. So, Yeah, so we've lost Bob Barker, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought he was dead already. Already. When I saw it first, I said, "Did he die? Didn't he died like a few years ago?" I was wrong. He was still alive. Well, probably not running any marathons, but he was alive. Donc, j'étais surpris. J'ai eu l'air d'un épais là, face à moi-même. Là. Je dis, il est pas mort, lui. I don't know, perhaps. So what's the new item? A brand new casket! Da, 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 da. And you open the casket and Bob was there. Oh, okay. I haven't followed The Price is Right with, is it Drew Carey? Drew Carey, I think, yeah. That took the, I don't know. That was his career that died. Yes, that's a good point. You're totally right. You're totally right. Well, anyway, so yeah, this is why I decided to do this tonight, and I wanted to talk about several of our childhood heroes, or the ones that to be honest with you, while I was searching, yes, Curry died 2 years ago. Yeah, he died 2 years ago. He's dead again. Wow, I didn't know he made a comeback. Had to die again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elvis Presley. And he died again on stage. But he didn't die on stage. He died on the toilet. That's another thing. So anyway, okay. So I was wondering. I was telling myself, what am I going to talk about? Well, like I just said, these people had a huge impact on us while we were growing up. While we were actually, let me bring my microphone closer. I just realized that the microphone is very far. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. I hope this sounds okay. I mean, yeah, we don't realize how these people get. They have an important part of our, like I said earlier, routine, our everyday life. Okay, so what I want to do, I've got my little notes here, and I'm gonna go along talking about some of the people that we've lost. And some of them, I'm going to talk about the impact for me, what I actually felt, or what these people actually meant for me, in my life. Late as usual, but I'm here. Jim, you're always welcome, my friend. You can be there 2 minutes before the show ends. You're always welcome. You know you have a special place in my heart, and it's always fun to have you around. I just said that again earlier. I was talking about why I was doing this, and the numbers. I don't really care about the numbers. It's not like I want more viewers because I'm gonna get that plaque, or I'm gonna get. I'm doing this to spend time with you, and I always try to find a subject that I know it could actually, everyone can actually feel what I'm talking about, you know? I try to do my best. This is 61, so 62 next year. You might remember me from such episodes of episode 60 last week. Yeah, Jimmy V's in the house. Gail is in the house. Ian is in the house. I'm in the house. Moo is in the house. Moo is asleep right there. She's always sleeping next to me. So you guys, you know how important, I've talked about this if you weren't there a few weeks ago, but how important these groups and how important this show, any kind of show or weekly thing that we, Molly, yeah, she's right there. How important this can be for some people, and it is for me. It is for me. It is for me to do this with you because I know that you guys will be there or gonna listen to it or whatever. And I know that you guys enjoy this in some kind of way, and I enjoy doing it. So it's important that we have these kinds of moments together, even if we cannot be together. And again, I think it's also the reason why I'm doing this episode this week is because of what I've talked about on the last 2 weeks ago, or I don't remember, that how important this is. And the fact, is Joe Ferraro is in the house. He's in the house too. Yeah, so I really think that life is important. We take so much thing for granted. I've posted something on Facebook this week, and I think it's Morgan Freeman that said that, but it's like the person that's going to die tomorrow, perhaps he doesn't know he's going to die tomorrow, and probably he had plans, and he won't be able to do these plans. The person that's going to die next week, he probably had plans for in 2 weeks, but he won't be able to reach that in 2 weeks. And the people that will be left behind will be sad of losing someone important in their lives. So when I'm seeing these people falling like flies, and like I said, I've got like a list that I want to go through, I think that it's even more important that we take the time to realize and understand how life is short, life is amazing, but it can stop. You can be robbed by life. I don't know if you understand what I mean. And sometimes when you see your heroes pass, you realize that you're not 20 anymore. You're not 15 anymore. You're not 40 anymore. I see it because part of my body just falls off and doesn't work anymore. And that's a reality that everyone has to go through. We get older, and there's an incredible line in a Genesis song. I'm a huge Genesis and Phil Collins. I'm not a fan. I'm a freak. Okay. And there's a lyric in one of the songs that says, you only look, it's the only day that you will look like today. I love this. I just love this. It's the only day that you will look like today, because tomorrow you'll be older and things happen. And sometimes we get older because we go through stuff. And trust me, I've been going through a lot of stuff in the last 4 years. And it changes people. It gets you wiser, smarter. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your experience. You learn from your accidents. But when you see some people die, just like we saw Bob Barker and we saw Paul Rubin and we saw Shithead O'Connor. Sinhead. How do you say her name exactly? I always said Shithead O'Connor, but anyway. People are dying, and these people sometimes are almost our age. It's like, what? I've talked about this a few years ago. Almost 2 years ago. I lost one of my friends. My friend out of cancer. She was 33 years old. 33 years old. She was starting her life. My dad died on the same year, like 2 months prior, but he was 81. He was like 81. He had an amazing life. Cancer came and that's it. That's all. But I mean, okay, he had a wonderful life. He had a wonderful son too. But at 33, man. Anyway, so back to our heroes. I want to talk about these guys, and like I said, I want to go through a list. And I've missed some comments because I was so emotional about what I was saying. No, I'm kidding. I want you guys to, in the comments, go ahead, and if I don't name some of your heroes that you've lost, perhaps I don't know them, perhaps I haven't made a complete list. Some of the names there, I just said, wow, man, it's unbelievable that these people are gone. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at who we've lost recently. I'm just gonna go check the comments because I haven't checked them all. Yeah, man. James, your Kirk Keck, Grand Amiral, Grand Moff Kick, amazing. Where you? My daughter is an amazing artist too. She got what an amazing talent. But you, my friend, yes, don't show this to anyone at Disney because someone's gonna knock on your door. We're all fighting over various PR. Absolutely wish I could. My heart. I'm not even 50 anymore. No, I'm not. I'm gonna turn 50 in a year and a half. I'm 48. But age is irrelevant in some ways because, like I said, except for my body that reminds me that I'm not 20 anymore, in my head, I still feel very young. I don't feel like an old fart. I act like one. Ask Audrey. She's going to say, yeah, he's an old fart, man. My uncle passed on the weekend. 61, ran marathons, never drank, never smoked. Served in the military, died instantly on the beach with his family. We are shocked, but so true. When your number is up, it's up. Yes, exactly. And I don't, for a long time, I'm not going to go into this, but we might talk about when you've got cancer, if you have money, you have better chances. Well, I don't know if it's the same in the US, but I saw this over here in Quebec. If you have money, you're going to live a little longer. I'm not saying you're going to be, cancer is going to be cured on you, but if you have money, you'll live a little longer. Anyway, that's another thing. And I'm not talking about conspiracy shit now. It's all a question of, you got some this, we're going to help you. Okay, anyway, very sorry for our loss, Ian. Condolence for, yes, my friend, exactly. That's awful. My comment certain is enough. Yeah, man. And we are all going there. It's funny because I love also this phrase, that sentence that I use. We all die a little every day, and it's true. It's not something like, "Oh, you're so pessimistic." Don't be pessimist. No, it's fucking true. We're getting like in the lyrics in the Genesis song. Yeah, it's the last time that you look like today, and it's true. That's the science behind all this. You can do whatever you want. You can try to run. You can try to hide. You can try to eat only whatever, or stop whatever you think will make you live forever. It's not going to happen. And it's funny, I've listened to a comedian yesterday I was swiping on TikTok or Instagram, I don't remember. And I just love this guy. It was a stand-up comic, and he said, I don't want to live 100. Why would you do this? It's like, and he said, It's a depressing topic. Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk more happy, even if we're gonna talk about dead people. I just love the fact that this guy actually said, "I don't want to live 100." I've got a friend of mine, of my dad. When he was 80, when he was 65 or he was 70, he was smoking like crazy. Is it? Man, don't you think you're not helping yourself? I don't care, man. Uh, I'm gonna live the time I'm gonna live. Now this guy's like 85. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Fuck, I'm still here, man. I tried everything I can to scrap my life, but he doesn't want me, man. That was really funny. Um, Today is tomorrow is never. Yeah, yeah. Sean Connery has a great speech on morality, and I. Yes, you're right. Yeah, another great movie, man. And another great hero of ours, James Bond. That's America. Yes, you might remember me from such movies as James Bond, Indiana Jones, Junior. Anyway, okay, so let's try to be more less depressing on that topic. Let's talk about the people that died. No, I want to celebrate these people because they had a huge impact on us. Okay, so we've talked about Bob Barker. I've talked about him earlier. He was in my everyday life when I was going to school, and every time I would go back to eat my lunch at my place with my mom. It was amazing. I loved the Price is Right. And it probably helped me learning my English because it was, of course, not in French. Sesame Street and The Price is Right, man. Those were my two of my favorite show as a kid. Of course, we've lost Paul Rubin. Who's Paul Rubin? Well, he's Pee Wee Herman. Like I've said earlier, Pee Wee's. I was not a huge fan of Pee Wee. I thought it was like too. And I was not like that, and so it for me was kind of annoying. It was way too much. But I totally understand, and I realize, and I know how big of an impact he's an icon forever. I mean, so we've lost Paul Rubin, and Paul was not very old. I think he died of cancer. Over here in Canada, yesterday we've lost someone that would be a journalist that works in following the Montreal Canadiens and all sports. He had like a 60-year career covering sports, and he died just boom like that very quickly. Okay, so I said the singer Sinead O'Connor, and it's sometime also and the reason why I wrote her down is because sometime when you learn that someone died, you learn how this person died or what happened during the last 5 or 6 years of her life, of their lives, and you realize, wow, that was not easy, man. That was rough. Tony Bennett. We've lost Tony Bennett. Can you believe this? Tony Bennett is like, he's Tony Bennett. He's like, of course, Sinead. Sinead? That sounds like a shampoo. The brand new Sinead shampoo. Yeah, so we've lost Tony Bennett. At least, well, for actors and singers, the great thing about these is that they're going to be there forever, in a way. I'm not going to compare Tony Bennett to Mozart or whatever, but I mean, his song will play in the radio around the world forever. I mean, he was just that great. Another that we've lost, and you're gonna say, why did you choose this guy? Well, it's because he had an impact when I was a kid. Again, we're vintage kids. The Iron Sheik. Does anyone know who the Iron Sheik is or was? He's actually none ever really gone. No, no one's ever really gone, and that's true. that's true. I love this sentence, and I think it was my favorite from the last Star Wars movies. Um, and I've talked about this with my daughter, and I've talked about this with my girlfriend. Because you have to keep in mind, for a while, we thought that I had brain cancer. So I didn't know what was going on, and that was during the pandemic. So, and I explained to my daughter that no one's ever really gone. As long as someone makes you live inside of them in memories. So one day, no one's gonna remember me. I'm not Tony Bennett. I haven't wrote any songs. I did movies, but nothing that will last forever. I mean, so, but if tomorrow I'm gone, my girlfriend, my friends, they'll remember me, and I'm gonna give the king of the MMC same thing. He's gone, but he's not really gone. We all have him. We're lucky enough, some of us, to have part of his collection in my own collection. So he's living on. You know what I mean? So no one's ever really gone. Science states that energy cannot be destroyed. We are energy. Trust we must continue. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen after, but anyway, we're not going into a religious thing here. Let's continue our... I was talking about the Iron Sheik. Who's the Iron Sheik? Well, he was a wrestler. And when I was a kid, I started to watch wrestling when Hulk Hogan became the champion of the world. And he fought again the Iron Sheik in Montreal. Can you believe this? At the old Forum. And he won this belt or whatever. You can check the fight. I think it's available on YouTube. And for me, the Iron Sheik, he was a great character. I just love this guy. So I was surprised when he died. I thought he was dead. Again, I'm sorry, man. Sometimes we hear our heroes, they're fly. Some of them is like, okay, he died. Yeah, il y en a qui partent. Il y en a qui partent, puis c'est comme, ouais, ok, tu sais, ça fait partie de la game. When they are old, I mean, I'm gonna and I don't want him to die soon. Clint Eastwood, he is still alive. He's 93, man, and he's still working every day. And can you talk about more of an icon than Clint Eastwood? I mean, what? He's like the Santa Claus of westerns. It's so funny because Clint Eastwood, I the first movie I saw with him, by the way, he's not dead, eh? Just want to make sure I'm not talking about him because he's dead. He's dead. Escape from Alcatraz. What a great movie. As a kid, I freaked out on that show. Anyway, okay, let's move on. We're talking about singers. Tina Turner. I was surprised to learn that she passed because a few years ago, didn't she were on stage? She was on stage not long ago. At least we still have Santa. Yeah, of course. And Radical Rick. Watch the Chic shoot videos. Oh, I'm going to have to go check that out, man. Okay, who's next? We've lost Jerry Springer. When you're talking about the icon of the... I've got to choose my word, but... of some kind of viewers or some kind of people that love these shows, Jerry Springer's dead, man. I used to watch this thing. I was like, what the hell is going on? You're not the dad, or I don't remember. You want to fight this person? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, Jerry Springer, il parti, man. Another one that... tabloid television. That's the right thing. That's the right word. Thank you very much for helping me out because my English sucks most of the time. So anyway, Jerry Springer is gone. Tom Sizemore. And again, that's another one that when you actually learn about what happened in the last few years of his life, it's sad. It's a sad story. But what a great actor! He did some great stuff. He played in some amazing movies. So yeah, for some people, Tom Sizemore, it's huge. It's a big loss. Now in the hockey world, we've lost Guy Lafleur, the Flower, le Démon Blond. Recently, that struck me more on my side because I've talked about this before, but I've worked for the Montreal Canadiens for about 8 years. And he was my first hockey hero. And I've met him when I was a kid. And I was lucky enough to work with this guy for several years on a lot of events. You do a great job with your English, better than our French. Yeah, man, I loved doing that video for the MMC, man. And I don't know if there's a way for you guys to get the real translation of what I'm saying, but what I'm saying doesn't make any fucking sense. And that was the point. But I didn't know that Derek would do such an amazing job using the sound. Anyway, Derek, you're a fucking master, man. Sorry about the F word. Okay. Yeah, so Guy Lafleur, one of the greatest hockey players that played with the Montreal Canadiens. We've lost Bobby Hall. Bobby Hall's gone. Another one that we've lost recently is, well, not necessarily recently, but in the last few years, we've lost the Queen. The Queen is dead. I mean, the Queen. I was sure that she would live until 200 years old. I mean, she was on a roll. She was ready to roll, man. It's like, yeah, because keep in mind, over here in Canada, her face is on our every dollar, every piece of paper that we have, every coin. There's her face right there. So I mean, the Queen is gone. I mean, does the monarchy and stuff is still important? I'm not going to talk about this, but talk about someone that we saw. Well, for me, I always felt like she was old. But I was sure she would live forever. I mean, poor Charles. When you apply on a job and you have to wait until you're 73, that's a long wait, man. I'm surprised that he didn't push her down the stairs or something. Maybe he tried. We don't know. So yeah, the Queen's gone, man. Okay. Barbara Walters. Here's another one that we don't realize how often she was in our faces. Every week. Kirk Keck meets Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters meets Radical Rick. Barbara Walters meets Phil LeBlanc. I mean, she interviewed everyone, and when it was important, you know that Barbara's gonna interview that person. Then she just like interviewed the girl or the guy that got his dick cut off. What is his name? Bobbitt, whatever. It's funny because Bobbitt is like Babette in French. It means underwear. Anyway, okay, so Barbara Walters gone. Here's one that I was sad to learn that she passed. It's Christy Alley. Christy Alley. So who's Christy Alley? I was not a huge fan of Cheers. I think I preferred the song than the show. But she was one of the main character in Cheers, and she was a babe. She looked great. Yeah, Lorena Bobbitt. Yeah, Lorena Bobbitt. Jeff Galloway. Lolly is gone, man. Okay, so yeah, I was surprised to see that Christy Alley died. I mean, again, sad story. Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta. I mean, Mr. Martin Scorsese, great movies. I mean, what an amazing actor. Yeah, okay, he did some B movie roles, but go check what he did with Martin Scorsese. What an amazing actor. Ray Liotta. And he passed like very like I was shocked. It was like, what? Okay, let's move on. Of course, we've lost Olivia Newton-John. I mean, she's gone, and that for me, Olivia Newton-John, it's not only Grease, the movie. It's all that she did after Grease. The workout thing in the 1980s, and it's like wow. Yeah, so Olivia Newton-John is gone. There's another one that had a huge impact on every one of us because we love those aerobatic thing. Yeah, keep on shaking these booties. Phil, you're only 3. Yeah, I know. Look at that girl go. Okay. Of course, we've lost a Canadian one. Yeah, John Ritter, man. And he's not on my list, and that's a great example because I was a huge fan of Three's Company, and I loved the movies that he did. And there's like a movie like he's a kind of a superhero. I don't remember the name. I've watched that movie I don't know how many times. John Ritter, and it's so sad and it's scary how he sadly passed. Bro la calotte. Bro la calotte, hein, cool, hein? C'est ma calotte half and half. C'est la Obi-Wan, puis la Vader. C'est ça? Ouais. En tout cas, whatever. Fait que, ouais, c'est John Ritter, I'm not, his heart just opened. Thank you, bye. He was on set. Someone wrote earlier, when your time is up, man. James, Jim, Joe, I all. Salut King. Hey. C'est André. André is actually a friend of mine. We've been friends since 1986 when the Montreal Canadiens won the cup against Calgary. Because we did our high school together for 5 years. And trust me, this guy got a sense of humor. It's probably way worse than mine. So when we're together in the same room, it's not a good idea. We spent 5 years probably traumatizing teachers and other students. It's so sad. Sorry about that. Okay, let's move on. We lost an amazing actor back in the days that is called John Candy. John Candy, he passed way too early. I mean, I would have taken so much more things of this guy. This guy was just a spark. And I grew up with John Candy on so many things. And even when I was older, I mean, I've enjoyed. There's nothing I think that John Candy did that I've watched and I said, that was bad. Or that was not that funny. John Candy, man, what a monument, literally. Another person that we've lost, and it's funny because some of you guys might not know this, but well, you know that he's dead, but that he passed. Errol Ramis. Errol Ramis, who was actually a good friend of John Candy, is actually Egon in Ghostbusters, and he was only 43, man. I'm 48. Errol Ramis is Egon Spangler on Ghostbusters, and he was an actor, friend with a lot of people on SNL, and did some great stuff. But At the end of his career, he became a director. So there's a lot of Errol Ramis movies that you probably saw and you don't realize that it's actually Spangler that did these Egon that did these movies. So that's another great sad loss. Okay, let's move on. What time is it? I'm okay. There's like huge names that I won't spend more time talking about them. So, Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton is gone. Bill Paxton played in Terminator. He played in the Titanic. He played in what's the name? Twister. And I forget. There's so many other great movies that he played in. That's another one that passed really quickly, and like he was young too. Burt Reynolds, yeah, okay, he was old. Totally understand, but talk about someone that lived in our childhood, someone that impacted us. Burt Reynolds. Now I've got a few other names, more in the music industry. George Michael's gone from Wham. Aliens, yeah, he played in Aliens. You're totally Weird Science. You're right, Paxton. You're right. Cannonball Run. That one I don't think that I saw. See, I got to watch that movie. We've lost George Michael, man, and it would have been great to still have some George Michael's music. Of course, we've lost Michael Jackson. People are going to say, yeah, but good riddance. No, still, this guy had so much an impact on us. I grew up watching Thriller and being scared of that video because I was a kid. It was like, I don't want to watch him transform into whatever. I mean, people might say what they want about Michael Jackson. Again, all the story, what happened in Neverland or Neverland. I mean, still did some great music, man. We've lost another comedian, another actor that I was surprised is Gary Coleman. Who's Gary Coleman? It's the guy that played in Different Strokes, and he didn't die of a stroke. Gary Coleman was that little short kid that was an amazing actor. I just loved Different Strokes. And I was lucky enough to have it translated in French, so I was able to watch it. Arnold, yes. Yeah, his name was Arnold in Different Stroke. You're right. Arnold et Willy. The name of, yeah. Willis, not Bruce. Different Stroke was translated in French. The title was Arnold et Willy. It just popped back in my head. Arnold et Willy, yep. Gary Coleman. I think that he did some. I don't know. Last time that we saw him was like on Celebrity Island, Brother Big, whatever. Là, je connais pas les affaires. J'écoute pas ça. I don't watch all these reality TV. There's a fly. There's a fly. Do you guys see that fucking fly that's been harassing me? Buck Rogers was on Buck Rogers and The Love Boat. The Love Boat, man. The Love Boat. Talk about a show that was literally in our childhood. Of course, I'm going to say someone that really hit me more as a kid because I was really young. And I think it's the first time that I've learned that like celebrity would die is Elvis. When Elvis died, I was like 4 or 3 years old, and what I recall of this is that something was going on with this guy, and my dad played all his music, and I fell in love literally with Elvis music. Elvis was my first singer, hero singer, or favorite singer as a kid. I would used to dance like him as a kid, and I would listen all to the vinyls, les vinyles. I would listen to all his. I don't know. Perhaps my parents used to have like 4 or 5 of his album, and I would listen to all of these albums as a kid. I remember downstairs, I would just enjoying that great music and that great voice. Anyway, so Elvis, man, talk about someone that will never die. We've lost our daughter. Can you imagine? We've lost Lisa Marie's gone. What? And Priscilla's still there. What? Sad. Okay, we've lost David Crosby, and I'm not talking about Bill. David Crosby is gone. Talk about someone that had an impact in our ears on the radio. Great singer, great musician. You can go check the documentary that they did on this guy. It's amazing. I think it's on Netflix. Not sure, perhaps on Disney Plus, whatever. Of course, we've lost also Prince. That also for a really young age. We've lost David Bowie, man. David Bowie's gone. So that's another like slap in the face. And I think one of the person that I'm really sad that we have lost early on is Whitney Houston. And Tom Petty's gone. You're totally right, man. Le Club des 27. Yeah, those people that are actually dying at 27 years old, like Jim Morrison and Hitler. I think that's the address where he died. Yeah, the 27 Club. You're totally right, man. So I was really sad to lose Whitney Houston because can you imagine the amazing music that if she would not just had the terrible life that she had with her husband and stuff, if she could have stayed healthy, what an amazing, incredible voice. Cobain, River Phoenix, fuck yeah. It's either 28, 42. Those are the death years. Yeah, well, I'm okay. I cleared those both. Woohoo! I should see another day. Yeah, so Whitney Houston, I mean, what an incredible voice. What? Just can you imagine all the great songs she could have gave us? Oh, Heath Ledger, man. Heath Ledger. Fuck, man. Philip Seymour. Fuck, man. Those are great, amazing people that you just can't say why. Why? They were young. They could have give us so much more. Okay. Of course, another one that had an impact on every one of us is Leonard Nimoy. Spock. Spock's gone. I mean, yeah, okay, he was old. I totally understand, but still, the people that grew up with Star Trek on TV and watch all the movies and stuff. I mean, he's an icon. It's like losing an amazing icon. Luke Perry. Luke Perry died so young. My nephew was 42, was a musician, and died on Elvis' birthday. Man, wow, that's not good, man. That's not luck. Yeah, Jim Henson was 53. Jim Henson, man, and we're not talking about the Henson's brother here. Jim answered the phone. Jim Henson actually created so much of what we know today, and that it used even to this day for puppets and stuff. What a sad loss. Okay, let's move on because I can see the time flies by. Leonard Nimoy, Luke Perry. Luke Perry was very young, and of course, Carrie Fisher. We've lost our princess. And I mean, even today, Mark Hamill's still having problems talking about it, how much he misses her. she was our princess. She was my first. She was kind of our first love for so many of us. Um, anyway, and the last one I want to talk about, you probably guessed who he is. For me, it was more than a slap on the face. It was the first time that a celebrity died, someone that I never met, someone that I didn't know, someone that I never shook hand or didn't know how he was in real life. Uh, but it hit me, and I was sad, and I'm still sad. But it felt I've lost a family member, and this is Robin Williams. Still today, I can't. It's gonna be 10 years next year that he's gone. 10 years without Robin Williams. Everything that Robin Williams did was magical. This guy came out of, I don't know, he probably just kind of slide uh, down from a rainbow, and I'm Robin Williams. Where what? No one was like him. No one is like him. And it really, yeah, I was sad. I cried, and it's like, man. And it's okay the way he passed. I mean, he was sick. Go check the documentary that they did with his wife. It explains all the how everything went for him. It's sad, but he was sick. He was sick, and I'm not talking like depression sick. He was literally sick. And anyway, so yeah, losing Robin, oof. But again, at least you miss him. You can go check his movies, and you can feel him through this. You can, like singers, you can feel them. Sorry. Through their music. And anyway, so yeah, Lewy body syndrome. Yeah, and go check it out. It's important for everyone to know, because some people he killed himself. Yeah, well, it's not. He did, but there's a reason why. And go check it out. It's really sad to have lost this person, but again, everyone has to go. Fisher King, man, Fisher King. Oh man, with one of my favorite actor, the dude. Okay, and finally, what I want to say, I know that I'm gonna freak out, and I think about this often. Like I said earlier, I'm a huge Phil Collins Genesis fan. Not just fan, like I said, it's literally a mental health issue. I listen to Genesis and Phil Collins stuff every day. I love prog rock. I love what Genesis did with Peter Gabriel. I love Phil Collins as a drummer. I love him as a singer. But he's one of the best drummers that ever was. And go check it out. Go check what he did with Genesis. It's just like crazy, and it's so hard for me to see him getting old. He got so many health issues, and I mean, I just can't imagine him being gone. I'm gonna freak out when this guy's gonna go away, and God, I wish him best life that he deserved. He did so much good for so many with his music and stuff. Yeah. So guys, that's it. See, I didn't want to make a sad episode. I didn't want to be depressing, but it's important, and it makes us realize that we are vintage kids. That's the reason why I wanted to do this. We are vintage kids. Felt the same with Neil Peart. Oh, I don't know. Who's Neil Peart passed? I don't know who this guy is, Ian. yeah, so it's just that it reminds us that we are also getting more and more vintage. And like I said earlier, it's the last time that you look like today. Drummer from Rush. Oh, yeah, we've lost the drummer from Depeche Mode. What? The drummer from Depeche Mode's gone, man. That's crazy. Anyway, uh, so that's it. I hope that you guys are not weeping and saying, Phil, you're too depressing. I'm not going to come back and listen to your show anymore. But I think that it's important. It's an important subject because we're vintage kids, and these people actually forged us. They in a way made us learn more about who we were, who we are, more about life, more about so much stuff, more about bidding on stuff. Thank you, Bob. Um, yeah, so that's it. So thank you very much for again joining me. I hope to see you next time. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next time. I'm going to talk about the Soka pretty soon. So go listen to the first two episodes because I'm going to talk about Ahsoka. I might not do a complete show on Ahsoka, but I'm going to talk about it very soon because I've got my conspiracy idea on what is coming. And yeah. So that's it. If you have any suggestions, si vous avez des suggestions, vous avez des idées, ça vous tente même de faire partie de l'émission. If you want to be part of the show, if you want to talk about a subject with me during an hour, go ahead. You're welcome. Just let me know and we'll do another show talking about something else. I'm always open. What I want to do is to make sure that you guys are having as much fun as I have doing this. So that's it. So thank you very much. Be safe, be good, be wild, be you. Enjoy every moment of your life. Don't take anything for granted. And remember, say to your loved ones that you love them. Tell them. It's, oh, she knows. No, tell her, tell him, tell your kids that you love them. Tell them how much they're important for you, how much they changed your life, how much your girlfriend changed your life, how much you love your parents, and thank them for everything that they did for you when you were a kid. That's important. So yeah, so that's it. So I'm sending you a huge numeric hug, and I pinch every one of you. And I hope you'll have an amazing rest of the week. And for the ones from the MMC, see you tomorrow. And go check that translation. I think you're going to enjoy it. Yeah. So have a great week. Thank you again. Have an amazing week. Bye.